Okay, I'm running for Senate District 22, which is Smithfield and North Smithfield. I'm sure nobody from North Smithfield or Smithfield is here tonight. The main reason I came down here, I'm also chairman of the Libertarian Party for the United States, or Rhode Island. Uh, so you've heard of that party. Well, if you think both the Republicans and Democrats have screwed things up, I think you should give us a chance. Basically, our basic platform is the smaller the government, the better. The more money that you keep in your paycheck at the end of the day, you get to make the decisions of how it's spent, and that's the best way to go. And it's just more freedom that way. You have a freedom of choice to what to do with your money. And we could drastically cut down the size of government. I mean, how many people here think the state government has too much power? With all the mandates that they put on the cities and towns that you have to pay for because they don't give you the money for it. All right, how many people think the federal government has too much power? So that's basically, I mean, the libertarian philosophy, the smaller the better. I ran in Senate District 22 in Smithfield, which is, the opponent was John Tassoni. Does anybody know who John Tassoni is? The business agent for Council 94, the State Employees Union. Well, the biggest problem was he's on the Senate Labor Committee, along with Frank Chacon and can't think of the other guy. But the labor unions control the Senate Labor Committee. So any bill that has anything to do with labor goes to that committee and either dies or comes out depending on what they want. And between those three of them, I think their salaries from the unions were $250,000. So who do you think they're really representing? They're not there to represent you. So I ran against Tim, and he outspent me about 40 to 1, and I got 38% of the vote. So I think it's about time we really had some change. So that's basically why I'm trying to do this. And to be honest with you, I've got 10 more years to work, and people vote with their feet. I mean, there was recently an article in New York about 100,000 people have left New York State because of the taxes. Well, people are going to do that here too. I mean, why does everybody go to Florida? Why do people go to New Hampshire? They have no state income tax. Think about it, no state income tax at all. And there's like 6 other states that have no state income tax. Well, if they can, they know how to plow. So if those states can do it, I think Rhode Island can do it too. So that's what I'd like to try and work for. Just cut taxes, because the biggest problem is the more power that they have, the more corruption you're going to have. It's inevitable. So if you take away the money, and that's where the power comes from, they don't have the power and you don't have the corruption, and you get to decide how to spend your money. There's so much fraud and waste up there at the State House. First of all, the legislative grants. You have to get rid of those. That's a few $1,000,000 right there. But you can go through every single department and look at every single job, and do we really need this? Is it worth throwing someone out of their home because they can't afford their taxes because we need this job? Just everywhere you look, just pick a department and you could cut it. I mean, medical assistants. I mean, I'm a pharmacist. I've worked in 3 states. I work at Rhode Island Hospital. The fraud and abuse in social service programs is absolutely ridiculous. I used to work in Woonsocket at a retail store, and one day we had a woman come in on medical assistance, and she wanted to get 6 months supply of her medicine because she was spending the winter in Hawaii. And I told her we couldn't do that. Normally we usually give a month's supply at a time. But she went home and called the social worker and called the state, and I got a call from the state that I was told that I had to give her the 6 month supply of her medicine so she could go to Hawaii for the winter. That's absurd, and I'm old enough to remember when there was no state welfare. I mean, that was Johnson's War on Poverty that started in 1964, and since then we've spent $9 trillion on anti-poverty programs, and all it's done is create more. Basic economics. I got an MBA from Bryant, and one thing I learned in economics class is if you want more of something, subsidize it. If you want less of something, tax it. So we're just doing the absolute opposite of what we should be doing. Why don't we have the lowest benefits in the country? Why do we have so many illegal immigrants? Illegal. Have to stress illegal. And you, they say that they're not getting social services, but they are. I mean, I work in the hospital. I don't even have to tell you what goes on there. Everybody gets free health care. So this national debate about people getting health care, it's nonsense. Everybody gets health care in the United States, whether they can afford it or not.
10 seconds.
Say now, a teacher voting to extend their own contracts. Does anybody get conflict of interest in this state? Good. Well, the Ethics Commission has been pretty well gutted, but back to the question you were talking about. You're talking about Ron Paul's audit the Fed. Absolutely. And you have to remember, the only reason the Fed and the banks have any power is because we have to borrow money from them. Every week, the Fed, they're going out and borrowing $30 billion every week just to pay the debts that we have. I think the interest on our debt right now is something like $500 million a day, just interest. So we really have to cut spending. And you talk about children, they're our future. They are, to the sense that they're going to get saddled with this debt that we have. I mean, every government program has never run efficiently. They always lose money. They always cost twice as much more as they were originally intended. They just grow and grow and grow. And we just have to stop and let you keep your own money and let you decide how to spend it. Okay, I recently read a report on Acorn, and if you want to download something, there's a thing on the internet that you can download. It's a complete detailed thing of Acorn, and you read it and it is just so complicated. They have so many groups everywhere. Money goes back and forth. It is so complicated. There's no way you can find out where the money is. I mean, even the founder's brother allegedly stole over $1 million in cash, and they couldn't even figure out where it came from or where it went. And Acorn, I think, is just the tip of the iceberg. There's agencies like that all over throughout state and federal government, and agencies are giving grants to this group to do this group, and they give money to this group, and this politician has a fund for campaign contributions, and they give it to somebody else. And by the time, I mean, I had a laugh with the latest thing with Ken Block, with his $10,000 contribution, giving it to Barrington so he could try and build a party. I mean, the rules are set up so that the Republicans and Democrats control the rules, and they don't want any other parties even involved. Rhode Island is kind of lucky, though. It's pretty easy to get on the ballot in Rhode Island. Some states, just to get in a General Assembly or to run for governor, you need like 60 to 70,000 signatures. And it's absolutely ridiculous, some of the other states. But I think Acorn is definitely just the tip of the iceberg. And there again, just we got to stop sending them money. I mean, it's tough when you have a paycheck and they take out the money every week. I think it would be much better if they didn't take out any money every week. And a week before the election, you had to write a check to the IRS for the whole amount. Maybe we wouldn't be voting for the same people.
Also,
I just want to add something on the Ethics Commission. I had this debate with Phil West before they even started the Ethics Commission, and my argument against it was that if the legislature is going to control the money that goes to the Ethics Commission, they have no power, and that's basically what's happened. The Ethics Commission doesn't have enough power. I really think what we should do is just codify into law that you cannot take money and sell your vote. I mean, it's that simple. Do we have to spell it out to people? You know, codify conflict of interest. Yeah, we have a part-time legislature, and people have to make jobs, but don't vote on legislation that you benefit. Don't vote to extend your contract if you're a teacher. It's not that complicated.